I hit the button. All right, it says we're live over on the YouTube side. Are we live? Have we gone live? Is this live? Tell me if this is live. If not live, I don't know what to do. But anyway, welcome to this week Unloaded. If we are live, it says we're live, so I hope we're live. Tonight, so far, we have with us Mr. Jason Stewart from the state of Ohio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Rich. Thanks for the invite. Good evening, Gary.
Evening.
And speaking of Gary, coming from the state of Kansas, we have the Gizzard one himself, Gizzard Gary. How are you tonight, sir?
I am good. Thanks for the invite, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So, let's see. What are we going to talk about tonight, guys? I really don't have anything. I mean, well, we can talk about what I have in my hand right now, and I can actually show this on camera because it's not a firearm. Yeah. This is a Hofner knife. You guys see that signature and everything?
What's the signature?
It's Brian Hofner. You can see
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can
Uh,
see that.
my hands are a little shaky right now. And then there's the model and everything. Of course, it's showing it backwards. Just read it backwards.
No, it's not backwards.
Oh, it's not backwards on your screen? It's backwards on my screen.
Nope.
no, we can read it.
All right. This is a $69 knife. Normally, when you go to their website, when we were at the Great American Outdoor Show, they had a show special, which you'll see from time to time. You got two of these for $80. So I got one, and my wife got one. Hers, I think, is actually an $89 one because she got the special handle and stuff. But all the knives, all the folders were two for $80. Whether you got the $69 one or the $89 one. The only thing they didn't have was if you go to their website, you see how it's got the Hofner logo right there. You can get other things put in there, like you get the military branches, their logos you can have put in there. There's a law enforcement logo you can have put in there, firefighter, like the Punisher, their 25th anniversary logo, all kinds of different logos. But each logo increases the cost. But it's a really nice knife. It has a brass bushing in there. It's super smooth. There's no spring in here. I can open this faster than I can my spring-loaded Kershaw blower. It's a 440C stainless steel blade. You can get them straight or combination blade, like I have this one, and they are your typical liner lock, but it got the G10 scales on it, and then it's a steel frame inside there. You guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your liner lock. It's a nice knife. It's really smooth. So on that front, do you guys carry an everyday knife? And if so, what do you carry?
I seem to admit it, but I carry just a cheap, smaller, old timer knife.
Nothing wrong with those. Those are made by Schrade, right?
They might be. This is only probably a $20 or $25 little knife, but I always find it handy, man. I always usually reach for it at least once a day for something.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw at your local Walmart, but the one here right before Christmas, you know, they do the skiff packs of like the different knives and stuff. They had three of the old timers in a package with a tin, like can you could put them in that for like $20 for three of them. I was really tempted to pick one of those up because they had three. It was three of the old style folding knives. One was like the old school Boy Scout knife, and then a couple others were like a cattleman's knife, and then or stock, and then there was a canoe pattern, I think is what it was in there too. They were really nice looking knives. What about you, Gary?
Well, I have one of those old timer knives. It actually came in a set along with the big Bowie knife.
Mm-hmm.
But what I actually carry most of the time is my high dollar Ozark Trail thing I got from Walmart.
Hey, those aren't bad knives for the money. They really aren't.
I'm bad to break knives, lose knives, ruin knives, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to spend a lot of money on one.
Yeah, I got one of those from Rick, from over on Rick's Life as I See It is one of his giveaways, and my wife actually carries that in her bag, the Ozark Trail one, and then the Hoffner one she keeps that. She's gonna keep that in the car in case she needs it. But here's my usual everyday carry knife. This is my Kershaw Blur. This one is a spring loaded. As you can tell, I barely pushed that and it just sprung right open. You barely move your thumb.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this one, just as quick. And unlike this one you got a little bit of tension. You can feel the tension when you go to push on the button. There is no tension. It just smooth, opens right up.
I do tend to like a straight blade rather than a combination, but I own both.
I thought this one, because the way it's done, it's more of a scallop to the serrations. So it'll cut when you're cutting through the serrations like it's a straight edge. But if you need the serrations, like you're cutting rope or something, they still will function like what a serrated knife would. So it's like the best of both worlds, I guess you could say.
That wouldn't be too bad because it's really only about a third of the blade too. So
yeah, and it's got that recurve to it, which makes it easier for cutting in certain situations too.
Yeah, I do kind of like that one.
What kind is that? A Kershaw?
Yeah, this is the Kershaw Blur. This is the one with the carbon glass breaker there. You see that there in the end, that little silvery tip.
Oh,
That's cool. Like to crack a car window in an emergency or something?
This one on Amazon, when I got it, was like $89, but you can get the standard one of these for like $60, $70 at Walmart. They're a really nice knife. If anybody wants a good automatic, well, not automatic, but assisted open knife, if they're legal in your area, I can't recommend this knife enough. I mean, I've had this one, and their warranty is outstanding. I had this. This is actually the second one I had. The first one, the spring busted in it, and I had just busted the very, very tip of the blade off, and I sent it in for repair. Before they had to have sent this one out before they even got the first one. Instead of repairing the one I sent them, they just sent me a whole new one. Before they even got and inspected the other one. So if you got a problem, Kershaw's warranty is excellent. Yeah, I cannot recommend Kershaw knives enough. There's just the quality's there, the warranty's there. They use really good steel. This is one of the ones that's still made in the U.S. Some of the Kershaws aren't made in the U.S. This one is still.
yeah, the real cheap ones aren't.
Yeah. I remember what it says right here underneath Kershaw. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. Where it says the Speed Safe USA.
Yeah, it's fuzzy.
Yeah, it's fuzzy. I wasn't sure if it was just on my end or your end. But yeah, that's what it says. It says Speed Safe and then USA.
Webcams don't like focusing in on things that are real close to the lens.
That's not the biggest rating in the world either. Yeah, these are a nice knife. That recurve blade actually makes it easier to cut. So that's a good knife. And this one's a good knife too. For the money that I paid for it, this is a really good knife. I mean, the $67 knife. Yeah, I can see that as being a normal price of them. But if they're going to be at an outdoor show or something near you, and they have one of those, or a gun show, what have you, and they have that same deal where you can get two for $80, grab them. They're at that price, $40 a piece. It's a really nice knife for that price.
Now, we don't have knife laws in our state, but my job has rules as to how long. I think 5.5 is the longest blade you can have at work.
Yeah. Well, this one here is a 3.5, I believe. They also have it in a 2.8 inch for I guess states like California and that where you can't have a blade over 3 inches.
Yeah, we used to have laws like that, but when we got constitutional carry, they also the same year they wiped out all the knife laws.
Yeah, we got that too. But they screwed up when they did our the preemption law in this state. They had it where it covered firearms but not knives. So now they're going in. We got on the floor of the state senate a bill to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So
As
Gary,
far as
can
state
you
law
have
is concerned, you can have any.
Pardon me?
can you have switchblades then in your
Does this
state?
answer your question?
Yep, we can.
This is just a cheap Chinese knockoff of a micro tip, but it works. I mean, got a decent edge on it. Paid $35 for this at the gun range.
Yeah, they sell them at the gun shows around here all the time.
That looks like an assault knife.
Yeah, I put this little knife through hell. I mean, you can see where the rubber is starting to wear off.
Yeah, you've used that a time or two.
Yep. If I'm going somewhere and can't, like, if I have, and I can't fit this because of how often, I mean, this is not, you're not going to hide that you have this in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
I grabbed this one because this is a lot smaller. But the blur is, you can see the size comparison.
I have so many knives around this house, though, that I've collected over the years. Well, not collect on purpose, just I see it at a store. It's like, I want that. And
And
add
if
it
you look
to my
at,
collection.
and then size comparison here, the blur is a big knife. This one dwarfs it. You see the size difference.
Yeah. Quite a bit bigger.
I mean, but that gives you a really nice grip. That handle, especially if you got bigger hands, you get a really good grip on this handle.
If it's got that that scalloping or whatever on the back there for your thumb grip. And the main thing I look for on a knife is where it holds the blade in there. Is that good and tight where that blade doesn't wobble?
Oh, that blade does not wobble. There is no wobble in this.
And when you close it up, is it centered in there?
Yeah.
You don't want it hitting one side or the other.
Right. Yeah, like that. That blade is centered.
Yep, a good knife will stay centered.
You can tell, but if you can see the pegs inside there, and that blade is dead center of that peg.
And occasionally I oil mine up every once in a while and clean it with it.
That's what's nice about the brass bushing. You don't have to lubricate the knife as much. Whereas if it were like a ball bearing or something in there, you would have to keep it the bearing lube, or not the ball bearing lubed in there. Whereas with this being a bushing, it's a flat piece of brass that's like super high polish, so it's gonna hold its smoothness when you go to open it.
What do you oil a knife with? Just like gun oil?
Yeah, you can just use gun oil.
Yeah. Yep, rim oil, any kind of oil like that'll work.
Yeah, 3-in-1 gun oil, tap oil, anything, any kind of
mineral oil.
You can even use graphite lubricants. You can use those on them too. Yeah.
I got some graphite lube that you put on, what do they call it? Not soapbox derby cars, but yeah, the little model cars that you make to run down the ramps.
Yeah, those are the Pinewood Derby.
Pinewood
Yeah,
Derby,
Pinewood Derby. Yeah, well, I built some for kids one time, and then I cheated and ordered like everybody were just using like basic kits. I went on the internet and ordered some nice stuff, and I got some graphite oil for the axles,
Mhm.
and boy, that stuff is slick and will
Yeah, it
spin
is.
the wheel.
Yeah, if you got something that needs lubricated and if the graphite lubricants won't do it, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're in trouble because that stuff is super slick. You know what
Yeah,
else?
it is. It's a big difference.
Yeah, you know what else makes a good lubricant that people don't even realize? Pencil lead, because that's just graphite.
Yep.
If you don't need something in a hurry to get something lubricate, something that like is sticking or something, and you don't have anything else, get a pencil and just like once you get your knife apart and you need to take a pencil and just like go over it a couple times where you get some of that graphite from the tip on there.
I'd really have to hunt to find a pencil around here. You used to always keep pencils, but
Oh yeah, we got some somewhere.
I use a pencil every day of my
Yeah,
life,
yeah,
but
he's a
I'm a
carpenter.
carpenter.
carpenter, yeah, you'd need a pencil.
Yeah, that's why I said about the pencil that because him being a carpenter, if he needs something to, if his knife's sticking or something, and he needs something, he can just take one of his carpentry pencils and hit it with
Yeah,
that real quick.
I hardly leave the house without a pencil tucked up under my ear.
Hmm. Now, do you use one of the flat carpentry pencils that you basically have to sharpen with a knife, or do you use a regular pencil?
No, I use regular pencils because I need a nice small. Like you can use a big carpenter pencil if you're cutting like 2x4s and stuff,
Hmm.
but I'm doing the finished carpentry. I need a nice skinny, sharp pencil.
Right. And Daniel Pfeiffer out there saying that this didn't show up in his subscriptions. Yeah, I get people telling me that all the time. Jason couldn't find it earlier. I had to put the link in the internal chat because it didn't show up in his.
Yeah, it didn't show up in mine either if it wasn't for the fact I got the email.
Yeah, it didn't show up at all for me.
Weird.
Daniel also saying that they make sharpeners for carpenter's pencils. We just always use the knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use, a knife.
Ouch. Oh, man.
Is George being a pain?
Oh, he was up in my lap for a while, then he got down and he almost scratched the palm of my hand getting up. It's like, dude, be careful. He don't care, though.
Cats don't care.
He wants to get up here, he gets up here. When he wants to get down, he gets down. You can try to suggest one or the other, but it's just a suggestion. Cats do what they want to do. But now, before I started this show, I went in the other room. He got up in my chair, and I went to pick him up, to lift him up so I could sit down, and he acted like he was going to bite me. And I said, "Oh, no, you don't." He's just playing, of course, but it's like, dude, I'm comfortable. Leave me alone. It's like, no, it's my computer chair. You find another place to lay down to.
Hey, Kingpin, you got a link, man. You could be in here talking to us.
Yeah, you could get in somebody's chat.
The unofficial co-host, and he doesn't even show up for the show.
Yeah.
You're slipping, man.
Maybe he had a Valentine.
Nah, he was over on Scotsman's show. He was hanging out with the foreigners.
Is he a foreigner or a domestic? I think he's a domestic.
Yeah, Kingpin's a domestic, but he was hanging out with the foreign guy.
Oh, Scotty, he's all right.
Yeah.
He was in my. Well, he didn't get on the panel, but he commented out in my morning show. We had a pretty decent crowd in there. It was
Yeah,
fun.
I didn't get to sleep until like 7 o'clock this morning, so there was no way I was making it. I could not. My sleep was all screwed up.
Black Cat was on there for a while, and then he said something about having to go catch fish or going fishing. I don't know if he actually caught any fish. But
He had to go get his dinner, man. Those cats, they got to eat something.
yeah. Did you catch any fish, Black Cat? Tell the truth.
He caught 85-ton shark. The best part was it was in the Susquehanna River. Don't know how he pulled that one off. Kingpin says he's from Maryland. That's kind of domestic in a commie way. Now, I done told you over in Scotsman's chat, it is now my truth that Maryland doesn't exist. If my truth works for the Dems and the leftists and everybody else, I'm going to start using it to deny that the commie states exist.
I have been to Maryland. I think I was about 9 years old, so I don't remember much about it. But
Yeah,
I know I drove through there because my sisters lived out in D.C. back then. So
yeah, I live right across the border from Maryland. I've been in Maryland many times.
it's quite a trip for me to get to Maryland.
Yeah, the worst part is the fastest
a little bit.
Some parts to get to some of the western parts of West Virginia from where I live is to actually have to go through Maryland. Otherwise, an hour and a half would take you 4, 5, maybe 6 hours.
The last time I was up in the Northeast at all would have been 2009 when I went up to Niagara Falls. So I went through Pennsylvania and Ohio and all that stuff. A long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind going back.
Not much has changed. At least the Ohio part of it.
I didn't mind Ohio driving through. There's a lot of cool things to see there.
The worst part about Pennsylvania is the damn roads. When we were driving up to the outdoor show, I told my wife, now, you're used to driving 81 between like Martinsburg, West Virginia, and Winchester, Virginia. That's the good part of the road, right? It's pretty smooth in those areas. You get across the PA state border, the road's going to suck. It's going to be loud. The road's going to be bumpy. She's like, it can't be that bad. She found out I wasn't joking with her. That 81 in Pennsylvania is god awful.
I see the gun snob has decided to.
Yeah, speaking of somebody else that has a link.
He's probably still over at his.
Yeah, him and
at his mom's house, or
yeah, Stacy was saying they were at his mother's. That's why she hadn't jumped in, because Snob apparently was taking his good old time leaving.
Well, he's visiting family. He's being a good son. And spend time with them while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the time will come when they're gone, huh? And it's like a buddy told me, and it's true. He said, spend as much time with your mom as you can, because when they're gone, then you wish you could spend another day with them.
He says he's on his way home now, but the kids are noisy.
Yeah, my mom's been gone almost 2 years now.
I couldn't tell you if my mother's alive or dead at this point, to be honest. I'm sure my brother would have told my wife by now. I don't talk to my family at all. So they contacted me and contacted Amy and told her that my dad had died a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, I really didn't care. He wasn't there when I needed him, so I didn't give a shit, you know.
That's a shame that has to happen.
Yeah, what bothered me wasn't the fact that he died. What bothered me was the fact that I didn't care. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
No, I'm not judging you or anything.
Oh no, I'm not saying you are.
It's a shame it had to end up that way, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I got your meaning there. I totally understood where you were coming from with that. Yeah.
But I know how that happens. My son I hear from about every 2 or 3 months, maybe. And it's just when he happens to have money and he thinks about it. But,
Well, it's like my family didn't even let me know my grandmother died, so they let me know when my grandfather died, but then they didn't let me know when my grandmother died. You know. That was nice of them. They made sure I knew that my aunt, who I can't stand, was dead too. I didn't even really call her my aunt. She was just my uncle's wife.
there's the gun.
You're snob.
Oklahoma's gun snob. Who is muted. There we go.
Yo, there we go. I was trying to find the right buttons. I haven't used this on my phone in a while. Here, say hi.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
hey everybody.
Hey.
I would be on there if you were
Hello.
home.
So while you're able to be on the show, we were talking about what we carry for our everyday carry knife. You guys, what do you carry, Snob?
Probably 95% of the time,
Okay, can you
carries
repeat
a
that? 'Cause
robot
you,
knife.
yeah, you need to repeat
It's a
that. You were
robot.
real bad. I think we lost him.
Shield 9. That's what I'm carrying right now.
Okay, we lost you there for a minute. What did you say?
One more
Normally.
And we
He
lost
went
him.
gray again.
Yep, we lost him again.
Oh no, yes, he's gone.
My shield. That's our credit card.
How about my...
Wow. Every time he goes to tell us, we
Yeah,
lose.
he goes for about 2 seconds. That's about as long as he can stay online.
Yeah.
He's got the kind of knife that cuts out
Shield
a microphone.
9 most of the time.
Okay. And you cut out again. We have no idea what you said.
Yeah, I'm getting about 1 second snippets of his conversation.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about it,
Shield.
Yeah, that's you.
Gun 2.
okay. Just to kill a little time. If I can get this to come on, that is. Okay, this is the old timer that I have. It's kind of got a nice looking little handle on it.
Are you talking about knives or guns?
Knives.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Knives. Your everyday carry knife.
I couldn't hear. My carry knife is a Kershaw something. Hold on.
But now here's my high dollar $3.98 knife that I carry from Walmart. It's nothing fancy, but
For the
it's
money,
tough.
yeah, for the money, those are trail knives, and they're not bad.
Yeah, it's got the nice grips on it. For under $5, it's Pretty darn good knife.
That's all you can afford. It's not a bad knife, and if you lose it, you're not going to cry yourself to sleep at night.
If you lose it, you just go buy another one.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't get that particular one anymore. It's like Snob sitting in a holding cell or something like that, being interrogated. He's holding a knife, though. Oh,
He's got a knife. He's got a knife.
Ah, he went away.
Yeah, he went away again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can hear you now.
A Kershaw Speed Safe, I guess is the model. I don't know. That's all it says on the blade.
No, Speed Safe is their assisted opening thing. That's not that's just what they call their spring assist.
Well, I don't know what model it is. It's a Kershaw. It's like $39 on Amazon.
Okay. Well, hey, you carry a Kershaw. That's good enough. You carry a decent Kershaw. I mean, Kershaws are nice. I got one.
Maybe I'll have to get one.
Mine's a little bit more than what yours was, but it's got the Speed Safe and everything.
Well, I lose knives awful bad, so.
So do I. That's why I got a big knife. If I drop it, I'm going to notice. This thing's got some weight to it.
I also have a little CRKT. I don't remember what model it is. It came in a tack pack. It's pretty nice. I carry it sometimes.
I used to have a little Gerber. I don't remember what model it was. But, my youngest daughter claimed that one. She carries that one now. It's got like a 2.5-inch blade on it.
I got a little Gerber dime multi-tool that I carry at work because it's small enough to fit in that little tiny pocket in your jeans.
Yeah, your watch pocket.
Yeah, and that thing's handier than you think. I mean, if all you need is a small knife or a pair of pliers, just something you can use in a pinch, it'll work. It's got good stuff on it.
I've actually got a little Leatherman knife that I carry too.
Yeah, this is the multi-tool I carry. This mostly I have this for like range purposes, and I have used this at the range. Like if you get a 22 round or something stuck in your little revolver and you need to get it out of there, this is handy for that. Or if you have to tighten the spring.
There we go. Yeah. I've also got this little Leatherman knife with a screwdriver and pry bar and stuff.
Yeah, this is the Gerber center drive. The reason why it's called the center drive, if you notice the screwdriver part of it here, it centers it, that angle that it's at, centers it right down the middle of it. So, you know, when you go to, with most multi-tools, your screwdriver will be off and you're like not getting a straight twist when you go to turn it. This one is just like turning a regular screwdriver. It stays centered right in the middle as you turn the screwdriver. And it's magnetic. It has different bits you can put in there.
Leatherman Wingman, that's what I carry. I put it on my backpack generally, but
well, my actual knife I carry every day, like working and stuff, is just a Milwaukee utility knife, like I forgot what it's called, Fastback or something. Yeah, Fastback.
Like a box knife type thing, or
yeah, but it folds up like a pocket knife, and you can flip it open with one hand, you know, wrist open.
Then you got this too on the outside instead of the inside, so you can do access. And it's a liner lock. And you're talking about wrist open. There's your pliers.
Oh, I know where it's at.
What multi-tool is that? It looks pretty nice.
It's the Gerber center drive.
How much is that one?
This was $80.
It's not horrible.
It comes with one extra bit. You can also, they also have it where it comes with the 10-bit set. So you got your 2 bits that come on the tool itself. Then there's in the scabbard or sheath for it, there's a little pocket in front of the multi-tools pocket where you can put one of those multi-bit little strips. You know, the rubber strips that have the different bits in them down in front there, so you can have multiple different screwdriver bits with you too.
Here's my little tiny one, like I carry out at work.
And then this one's got a little tiny pry bar on it, which actually works pretty well. I've used that little pry bar, which also doubles as your bottle opener. You got, what else you got in here? You got a serrated blade. You got a file, and you got an og bit, or an og bit, not og. That's what you got on here. Plus the screwdriver on the outside and the straight edge knife.
This actually has a pair of scissors on it. Little tiniest pair of scissors you ever saw. They'll cut paper.
Stacy has one of those little bitty tiny ones from Cabela's. That, I don't know. I guess she still carries in her purse. Little multi-tools. It's actually pretty nifty because it's just so tiny.
Yeah, every tool.
It's a Cabela's brand. It was only like $6. It ain't very stout or anything, but it's handy.
Yeah, I have two of these Gerber dimes. They're made well.
Yeah, every tool on this one, when you got them fully open, they all lock open. They're here. This like the loop here, which could be used for a lanyard. That's also your lock. You push it down to unlock. And your pliers.
That's one thing I like about this little Leatherman knife. I got it from one of the managers at one of the lots I worked for Christmas. He gave it to me. But it actually, all the blades and screwdrivers and pry bar, everything in it locks, unlike a lot of stuff. So it's handy. You can actually use it.
And your pliers lock, because you can see the button right there. You got to push down the button to slide the pliers back in.
Oh, cool.
So every single tool on this thing locks open. And it's got the nice little sheet that it comes in, which can be put that way on your belt, or you can carry it that way on your belt. Or you can put it on a backpack strap that way. This is how I usually carry it, because then I can just flip it open and it's pretty to, grab it and pull it out, and you're ready to flip your wrist and get the pliers out.
Yeah, that is handy. I like that.
I need to get a good multi-tool to keep in like my camera bag, because I've just got like a cheap Walmart $15 one or whatever that I keep in my camera bag. I'd like to have a good one like that.
Yeah, I bought one of those Walmart ones. You can't hardly get it open and closed.
Yeah, this one's not real great, but it's good enough for. I was just using it to tighten stuff down on my camera rig or something like shot or NRAM and stuff. It's good for that, but it's just not really good for anything, truthfully.
Daniel Pfeiffer, he's talking about he's interested in U.S. made model. Okay, the Kershaw, yeah. This like I was saying, the Blur that I have, it's U.S. made, and the Gerber center drive, that's one of their U.S. made models too. If anybody's interested in that, that's also made in USA. That's not one of their Chinese models. That's one of their U.S. models. Anybody was interested? Let's see, what else we have to talk about? You guys said Henry didn't have a booth at SHOT Show, right?
Right.
Okay. Did y'all see the pictures I was posting up on Instagram late last night?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a big booth at the Great American Outdoor Show. I posted up some of the pictures that my wife took. Tell you what, those the tactical model, those are really nice. The ones with the polymer furniture on them. They got the front fiber optic sight on them, which is really bright when the light hits it. And threaded, they got the threaded barrels. I don't know if you guys noticed in the picture, the barrel was longer than what it was on the wood frame one. It's because it's threaded. That was the thread protector. And it's got the little bit of Picatinny at the front of the, at the bottom of the handguard, the front handguard, and then it's got one M-lock slot right above that on either side, so that you could put like a flashlight or a laser, what have you. The Picatinny rail at the bottom, that's actually there if you want to put a bipod on it. And then the top of the receiver is It's Christ, what do you call it? Tapped. It's tapped for putting either a Picatinny rail on there or whatever optic rings, lever rings, whatever you want to put on it. But it's pretty nice.
And it's a
Well, I'm
Henry
kinda
lever
ant-
action rifle.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Snow?
I'm kind of anti tactical lever actions, but I see their purpose in states where you can't really have a decked out AR. You could have one of them because they do shoot fast and good. But I just like wood on my lever action.
I can see that. But yeah, if I were gonna buy one, it might be the Henry. But I was looking at the Marlin too, Marlin's booth, which was actually part of the massive, huge booth or section that Remington had. Or Remington at the Great American Outdoor Show. I don't know how they were at SHOT Show, but they had like, geez, it had to have been a 50-foot long by 40-foot wide section of floor at the Great American Outdoor Show. I mean, they had a massive display.
Oh yeah, the one in shot was
Yeah,
huge
big in the
too.
truck.
I would compare it to a normal gun store, a small normal local gun
Yeah,
store. It was
yeah,
that big, and
that's
just
what
their
this was
booth.
like with at the Great American Outdoor Show. They had split off. They had like their 1911s in one area, their rifles in another area, the ammo in another area, their swag stuff, like their hats and bags and stuff in another area. Marlin, they had Marlin with their own area. I mean, it was crazy how big their area was. But the Marlin ones were nice too. They're a more tactical version, and unlike the Henrys, the Marlin ones, I don't think my wife got any pictures of them, so I'm not going to post any of those. But they're the lever loop on them. It's sort of like the Henrys, but it's a little bit bigger in the opening, and they have paracord wrapped around it. So when you go to work that lever, you're not smacking your knuckles off the metal. And those were nice too.
I saw one of them at SHOT that had that. I don't remember what booth it was in, but I'm sure it was in the Remington. I just probably, it all went together. But yeah, I did see one that had the paracord on the lever.
Yeah, in case anybody was wondering, that didn't see my Instagram post, the tactical Henrys are also part of their family rifles now that have the side loading gate. So, yeah, they didn't do it with the front load; they did it with the side load when they did their tactical version of the rifle.
Oh, I mean, in all truthfulness, if you're going to have a tactical rifle, you want to, and it's a lever action, you want to be able to load it as you go, not.
And they're doing them in both.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're doing them in both the pistol calibers and the rifle calibers. Or I think right now the standard side loaders are only in their pistol calibers. I mean, their rifle calibers, right? So, that was the first one of the side loaders that was in a pistol caliber. You can get it in 357, 45 Colt, or 44 Magnum.
Now, do you know how many rounds does the 357?
It's basically, it uses the same capacity as what the big boy does, which is like 8 rounds, I think, of 357.
I didn't know what it was. I figured it was probably something like 8 or 9.
And the other one
because you get like 5 30-30, and 30-30 is quite a bit longer than a 357.
So I'm trying to remember. I think the other two rifles, because the top one was the pistol caliber one. I don't remember what caliber it was, but I remember it was one of the. It's obviously the pistol caliber one. You can tell by the ejection ports, right? But the bottom two, those I believe were both 45-70. But they're also going to have that in the 30-30, and I forget what other it said there was going to be in another caliber. I don't remember what it was. It's 45-70, 30-30, and something else. I don't remember what. They also had the Long Ranger there. Those are nice too. They're their box mag fed like 6.5 Creedmoor rifles.
Yeah, they're nice rifles for a nice hunting rifle.
Kingpin said his Henry Big Boy is 45 Colt and 8 rounds. So yeah, the 357 probably be about the same. You might get, and probably the 44 probably do that too. Yeah, probably all like 8 rounds. I think you get more of. I think in the 357, I think you can get more 38s in it. Than it's like 9 or
Yeah, I was gonna say probably you could probably get 938s in it if it'll hold 845 long colds.
yeah.
Hi, good folks. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Who are you? Go away.
Yeah, introduce yourself, man.
You're almost son-in-law. What are you talking about? And,
Oh, I
and
knew
by the
I'm
way,
trying to get you to go away though.
that
Lexus,
was
your
not me.
boyfriend's on here.
That was not me. That was not me
Yeah,
who
say
picked up
hi.
Lexi Jade last night. By the way.
I'm 16 now. I'll be 18 in 2 years, so we're actually
Oh boy.
we're gonna have a boyfriend.
Oh, sorry. She says she has a boyfriend.
Well, yeah,
I've met him. He's a pretty big guy. So,
hey,
you might want to be careful.
the bigger they are, the harder they fall, bro. That doesn't worry me. I'm not little. But
So
anyway, are you
7,
guys seeing
7,
my
5
initials?
minutes
Are
old
you
man.
seeing my? Are you guys seeing my initials? Are you seeing my my alter ego picture?
I
I
just
just
see SW.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Thought
better.
maybe it's
I'm looking
Stevie
at
Wonder.
I'm looking at a well tanned girl with orange hair for my avatars.
I just see your. Unfortunately, I just see your SW.
All right. Well, that'll work. How's everybody doing?
Not too bad.
I heard I
think
missed
I'm.
a fun chat last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a special one. It wasn't as special as Midnight Rangers show last week. It was up there.
And tonight he's going to have a good one too as a special guest.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to talk
Yeah.
about those 1911s from Kosing. If you get a chance to check one of those out, if your local dealer gets in one or whatnot, check it. Seriously, you need to pick one of those up and handle it. You're not just talking about it. Midnight's talking about it isn't going to do it justice. You actually got to have one of them in your hand and feel it. It feels really good in when you're holding one of those. Whether it's the one that uses the traditional 1911 side panel grip, or if it's their flared polymer grip, they feel really good in your hand. Weight and balance and everything on them.
Oh, so they have some steel ones. I thought they were just doing polymer grip. I mean polymer.
No, they have a polymer grip that uses standard 1911 side panels on that you would put like on your steel frame 1911.
Ah, okay.
I would show you pictures, but without written permission from them, I can't show you the pictures.
Right.
How much are one of those pistols, Rich?
MSRP starts at 1,300. If these were Nighthawk or Wilson Combat, you would easily see a $3,000 price tag on them. I firmly believe
they're made that well. Huh?
They're made that well, yeah.
Slides are real tight and everything.
Yeah, the fit and finish on them is really nice. They got.
Yeah, I don't like a sloppy slide.
They have. I talked to the owner's wife when I was there because he was talking to another visitor to their little booth. It was more like a table that they had set up. They didn't have, or the glass case, but they didn't have a big display. They only make like 2 models right now. 1911 in the 1911, one's a 45 and one's a 9mm. But the options that you can do on these things, because every one of them's made to order, so they didn't have a big case full of like 50 different handguns, right? But when you look at the option sheet, different colors, if there's a Keller of Cerakote, they can do it, right? The different style grips, the different grip materials, because you could get like the G10 grip, you can get wood grip, I think they had stag grip on it was an option. I mean, then you got the standard, like polymer, like what you would have grip, like what you would have with say like Smith & Wesson M&P, that style polymer grip, but it's got a swell to it, so it fits your hand better. They've got so many different options that you can do on the gun. So I mean, if you go to their website, I think you can see some of the options. It's cosanearms.com if I remember correctly. And if you go to their website, you can see some of the stuff they do, and they're really really nice. Everything is almost all the parts I believe are made in house except for the barrels. I think I know they source the barrels out because they don't have what they need to make the barrels right now. But anyway, after this show's over, go over and watch Midnight Range show, and he's going to have the owner of the company on there, and you'll be able to get the answers to all this for sure, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. But yeah, those are really really nice.
Do you remember if they had grip safeties or manual safeties or either
Yeah,
or both?
they're just like your standard 1911. They have grip safety, they have the thumb safety.
Okay.
Different sight options. You can get Novak sights, you can get tritium light sights, you can get fiber optic match sights, whatever you want. Pretty much, they can put on there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
talking about 1911s, I don't know how long they've had them, but I think it's a pretty new product. But Nighthawk now has drop-in trigger systems for 1911s where it's like a one-piece unit, just like the one-piece unit AR trigger systems and stuff. This is a whole encased, complete trigger, sear, disconnector, hammer strut, everything all in one piece. Drops right in your gun and just uses your regular sear and hammer pins to hold it in there.
It's basically a cassette trigger then.
Oh, that's a good way to call it.
yeah, I saw those. It's definitely an interesting.
I heard they were coming out with that. I didn't realize it was like a cassette trigger, like an AR cassette trigger. I just thought it was just a drop-in trigger. That's pretty cool that it's all one piece, made, held together as one.
They said you could. It's just as quick as well. You know about taking apart a 1911, and just pull your pins, dump everything out, drop that in, throw the two pins in, ready to go. So you could switch it from gun to gun in a few
Pretty
minutes
cool.
if you want to. $300.
What's it? Oh, that's what I was fixing to ask. That's not terrible, really, for being there.
No, you don't have to worry about, like, you can just throw a hammer and new sear and stuff in a 1911. It might have creep in it or it might push off, you know what I mean? But you can just throw in the parts that are cheaper than that, but or you can pay about the same amount of money to have a nice trigger job done, but then you always end up with $150 just in shipping for your gun.
Consolidated after says
And
sounds like
this
someone.
doesn't go with the gun whenever you sell the gun or trade the gun or buy a different gun you want to put this in.
Yeah, well, Consolidated 1776 out there, aka Clay, says sounds like someone is in the pocket of Big Cosine. Cosine ain't been around long enough to be Big Cosine. They're a small little company that's just starting out, man. That's why I'll promote them. I mean, they got a good product and they need promotion to get off the ground and get this running because they got a good product. And G23, was it G23 says it? Who was it that said? Yeah, G23 said they're trying to be like STI. Interesting you should bring that up because the founder of the company used to work for STI. He was one of their engineers, if I remember right. And said he wanted to go off and do his own thing.
I'm about to lose something here in a minute.
Yeah, you're roboting there.
I'm losing.
Hey, I don't know if this is an appropriate time to ask, but anybody familiar with Franklin? What's it called? Franklin Armory in far west Nevada?
Franklin Armory?
Franklin Armory, yeah, they're the ones that made the retardation.
What?
You don't know what the retardation is?
I don't.
They're straight grooved, not a rifle SBR that they thought they were going to get past the ATF, saying it's not a shotgun because it has straight grooves. But then that it also
Right,
wasn't a rifle because they didn't twist, and the ATF was like, okay, yeah, we'll let you get away with that. Then, like a year later, like, no, that Franklin Armory.
Apparently, I saw an old show last night. I can't remember what it is. It's one with that old dude on it. Well, anyway, they had a special on Franklin Armory last night, and I thought that gun was pretty cool. But yeah, apparently, the ATF wasn't as cooperative as they had anticipated. Apparently, huh?
Well, I think it more or less just tumbled the rounds out of it after a few yards.
Yeah,
That's always good.
they tried having that proprietary ammo for it that looked like the Nerf football that has the tail on the end of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, right.
I mean, that's what their proprietary round for looked like, and they could find nobody that would make the round for them. And then if you use standard 5.56 ammo, after so many yards, it would start the keyhole. And I think they claimed that we had 50 yards. It was like a 5 MOA, which isn't good. But at self-defense ranges, you're talking like 30 yards and closer, that would be passable. But if you wanted to take it out any farther than that, good luck, So that's why its actual name was the Reformation, but everybody started calling it the Retardation. I mean, it was just a thumb in their nose at the ATF is all it was. And the ATF at first was going to let them get away with it, but then saying, on second thought, no. They basically did the same thing to Fostech with their little AK-based shotgun, but because they went and did some other stuff to it, and the ATF was like, no, you can't do that. But Kalashnikov USA has one of those little firearm that's not a shotgun coming out that's based on the Saiga shotguns.
Oh, now what about their binary trigger thing? That seemed to be pretty cool. Or is that
From who?
I guess it depends on your
Fostech,
state now. No,
from Fostech or
Franklin. Franklin.
Yeah, because they both have one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're I guess a fun range thing, but
Right.
But and then there's also DigiTrigger. The problem with the DigiTrigger that I saw, I mean, it was a nice smooth trigger because I was playing with one at the Great American Outdoor Show. The problem is theirs is electronic. Whereas the Franklin and the Fostech, it's got your standard semi-auto, then where you flip it and where it'll be like full auto or burst fire on an M16 or an M4. That sets it into your pull and release. Because the way those triggers work is you pull it and it fires, and then you release it and it fires. On the grip, which tells it to switch from semi-auto to what they call the Digi-Fire, which is basically just the pull and release system.
Right. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the problem with theirs, you can't just buy the grip and the modified a lower to be able to take their electronic system inside there, because there's no way for the wiring to get to where it's got to go to work the thing unless they put like a hole here or there, because they can't put it in where the grip nut go, or the grip bolt goes. They got to modify your receiver to be able to use the system, and the thing costs $400.
Okay. Yikes.
Whereas the Fostech and the Franklin, they're anywhere between $300 and $400, but you can install them yourself.
Right.
The Franklin, it's like you got to put it together like you would your standard AR-15 trigger. The Fostech is self-contained for the most part, so it's like one of the it's partially or semi-cassette drop-in style trigger, right? So those are much easier to do. So you can do them yourself, and you don't have to worry about the batteries dying.
Yeah, it makes sense. Not sure how that would affect it. I don't even know what would it do if the battery died. You suppose? So I guess just that little button probably wouldn't work anymore. But I suppose the lever would still. Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
I take it the electric button. If you were on, like had the trigger pulled back on the Fostex and stuff, you're supposed to be able to flip it off of binary
Right.
and it'd be safe to let go. So is that the same thing? You could just let go of the electric button, and then it'd be safe to let go of the
Well,
trigger.
no, you're not. You don't hold that button in. It's got two buttons on the back of the grip. One's marked S and one's marked D. The S is semi-auto and D is your double fire, which system, which they call digi-fire. So you just push one of those buttons to select which fire mode you want, and then you start shooting. You don't hold the button in.
Also, it's not really any of a safety device or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a selector.
Yeah, it's just it's just another component that doesn't need to be there. I mean, like I said, it was a nice trigger. It was nice, crisp, but the whole having to modify the lower, like you couldn't take it out of one receiver and put it in the other like you could the Franklin or the Fostech on your own, because you have to modify that receiver and do the wiring and everything. Which is, I mean, it was a nice trigger, but I wouldn't buy one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That the binary I saw in Franklin Armory's little 30-minute infomercial last night was looked pretty cool. I mean, it seems like it'd be fun. I don't know if I'm willing to drop 300 or 400 on it, but
Watch Military Arms channel. He's done videos on both the Franklin and the Fostech triggers. They're fun.
Cool.
They would be like a fun range toy, but it would be like full auto or burst fire on a military rifle. You don't need it. If you got a flip to where you're using the burst fire or full auto, you're in trouble. In an actual firefight situation, you're a little bit in over your head because that's what the machine gunner's for.
Right. Makes sense. I think it'd even be cool to put it on a 1022, man, just because the ammo.
They make them for the 1022.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
And
I don't know about those companies.
They're working on for the AK. Yeah, they're working. I think it's Franklin that's coming out with it for the AK, if they haven't already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it on my Ruger PCC, but then again, 9's a lot more expensive to shoot than 22. So
9's not all that expensive.
No, yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons I like it so much.
Yeah, the Ruger PCC. Do they just take 1022 triggers, or is that a separate trigger?
Good grief!
I think they take something similar. I think some of the parts.
I bought it. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
I was just saying. I think the Snob was still here. He'd know, but I think most of the trigger group is the same as a 1022.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I mean, I bought mine early in the spring of last year. What was that? 2019. So yeah, I'm not sure. Mine is actually what would you call it? I guess the Gen 1 or something, because I've seen ads or pics in magazines, and I don't know if they were altered or what, but they don't look like mine. They've got some different things on them.
See there, that was nice.
Yeah, it's a fun gun. I mean, mine, I love the iron sights on that gun are amazing. I enjoy shooting with that so much. Even though it's got rails and stuff, I can't bring myself to put anything on it. Maybe a flashlight someday, but I don't know. It's just iron sights are great. I mean, if I ever had to use it at night, I guess it would make sense to put at least a laser on there, but I don't know. I love those iron sights, man. They're fun.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing at the Ruger booth though was the Super GP 100. That thing was sweet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes me sick because I bought
If I'm going to spend that kind of money on a revolver, I'm buying that and not the Python.
Yeah.
Is it the case-colored one?
It's not case-colored, but it's basically a competition 8-round 357 Magnum.
You remember what the MSRP was?
The guy at the show told me 1,300, but I think it was Snob the other day was saying when they were at SHOT Show they told them 1,500, and on their website it
Wow.
had 1,500.
Bummer.
At this point, anywhere between 1,300 and 1,500, depending on
Yeah, I
who
mean,
you ask.
I don't do competition shooting or anything, but I already have a 6-inch stainless GP 100 in 22 and in 357, and I love those. I can't see paying more than double what I paid for those, you know, or almost triple. I mean, I think I paid around 6 a piece
No, but
for
the
those
trigger in
guys.
that thing is it's amazing.
Be quiet, Aubrey.
Yeah,
That trigger was super light and crisp in single action and double action for that matter. That double action trigger in that feels like a double action striker fired pistol. You know, like a good Glock aftermarket trigger.
yeah.
I know I said Glock, but I hate Glock stock trigger. They do have good aftermarket triggers, or you know, a good 1911.
You know
Well, I wouldn't say
And I heard you had
single action
talked
looks like
about
a good
it, but it's
1911
fallen.
trigger. It's got that kind of break to it. It's really
Right.
nice trigger in those things.
Yeah, you know, that's
I
the
think that's
thing
fallen.
that's
I'm
kind
not
of weird for
going
me.
in.
Stacy, you're already talking, bud. We hear you.
Oh, I thought I had it
Anyway.
muted.
Yep.
Nope.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, that's the weird thing about my GP100s. They look identical, other than the size, of course.
was muted.
I mean, they're both 6-inch stainless with the rosewood grips, but the triggers are dramatically different. And I don't know if that's just if that's intentional or if that's a quality control thing. I don't know, but yeah, like the 22 GP100 has a real clear staging point. You know what I mean? You can pull it whatever it is 2/3 of the way back, and you know you pull another millimeter, it's going to shoot. My 357 doesn't really have that. I mean, it's just kind of a steady flow, and it's kind of weird to get used to. And it doesn't really have that, you know, staging point, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, you need to just pull right through it. Don't
Yeah.
rely on a staging point. Quit doing
Right.
that. Get used
Yeah.
to just start your trigger pull and get right through it and be done with it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, that
funny.
makes sense.
It's funny at first, but man, if you can hold the gun good and you're not moving it around, just pull through it and let it happen. And it kind of takes a little
Right.
bit to get used to it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I guess, you know, realistically, it's not much different from my SAO Legion. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's just smooth.
Yeah,
basically.
that's the way the trigger is in my Pro Series Smith & Wesson 627. That's just you just pull. There is no
Aloe vera is the best thing
staging of
for
that
it.
trigger. You just pull
Oh
that
my
trigger
God, it's
back.
fun. Every
Pull
single
through.
thing we had,
Yeah.
my grandma put aloe vera on it.
That's aloe vera you put on it, right?
Yeah.
Stacy, you're talking to us again about the aloe vera.
Oh, I'm still not muted?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
I hit mute. Is someone
No,
doing it?
I'm good at reading minds, so I knew Snob wanted some aloe vera. I'm not sure.
Now she's muted.
No, she's not. I'm muted again.
Oh boy.
And she's muted again.
Let's see how long it stays muted this time.
She's probably talking now. She's got.
I'm having so much problems tonight.
Yep.
It's been a long day.
Oh boy. Well, at any rate, hi Stacy. Hope you're having a good evening after your long day.
Braden's got a burn on his hand from iron. And
Ooh,
so
sounds fun.
we had him put some aloe vera on it, and he's complaining that it's burning. He got it yesterday.
Yeah.
So I've been
I
dealing
don't
with
know.
that.
Oh, you got it yesterday. Well, it's probably too late for me to say this then. I mean, the best thing I've ever found for any kind of burn is just put it in cool to cold water.
Yep.
You know, you don't want tons of ice in there, but what you want to do, that cool or cold water will help to prevent further damage. If that
Yeah,
makes sense. It just
burns on your skin are like pasta. You run cold water over pasta to
Right.
get it to stop cooking. Basically,
Right,
sticking
right.
your hand in the cold water does the same thing. It stops the burn from getting bigger.
Well,
A
I
lot of
was
people
Yeah.
don't realize that even when you pull your hand away from whatever burned you, your hand, it's still going to be burning until it cools down to a certain point.
Well, I was really dumb when I was a teenager. And so I used to spray hairspray on my hand. And I would light my hand on fire, you know? And I've done it countless times.
Okay.
And I've done it countless times, no problem.
Hey, Bo,
Well, then
watch this.
me and another friend and stuff, we had some boys over. And I put way too much hairspray on there, trying to show off. I tried to put it out like I normally do, and it wouldn't go out. So I burnt the crap out of it. It hurt so bad. I slept with my hand in a glass of water the whole night. It burned so bad. I had blisters on my hand. Yeah, it burned horrible. And all because I was trying to show off to boys.
Yeah, I once was getting a cup of boiling water out of the side of one of those commercial coffee machines, and some knucklehead bumped into me and splashed that water all over my hand, and it was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe how bad that hurt. But I'm sure there are worse burns, but yeah, I didn't enjoy that one. But yeah, I had to keep my hand in ice or cold water for quite a long time, and after it started getting cooler, I just kept making the water cooler and cooler and cooler, and ended up being not as bad, you know.
Yeah, like Daniel Pfeiffer says out there in the chat, if it feels hot, it's because it's still burning. You want to keep your hand in the cold water until it doesn't feel hot to the touch anymore.
Well, when I was like 5, which I'm glad I don't remember most of it, but my mom was in the kitchen and she had, was boiling hot water. And I guess she had told me to get out of the kitchen. I guess I didn't listen. I was still underfoot. Well, she ended up tripping over me, and I ended up having the whole boiling hot water on my arm. And she had to call the doctor and stuff. But they put it in these water and wrapped it up in a wet towel until I got to the thing. But I didn't scar, so whatever she did was good because, I don't have a single scar from it. It was pretty bad.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, she must have done the right thing.
Well, they called the doctor.
Cold water definitely makes
it.
a difference. Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what's worse. My ex-husband, he worked at a dairy plant. And when they clean out the lines for the dairy, they use acid, some type of acid. And so they didn't give him the right type of boots. And so it was leaking down in his boots. And so he got chemical burns. Chemical burns will keep burning and burning. Even with rinsing them off and stuff, but it was bad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Chemical burns are probably the worst kind of burn you can get. They are really nasty.
Yeah,
sure.
You seem to be attracted to farmers, Stacey.
Yeah.
My grandpa fixed every cut and every burn and anything like that with chewing tobacco.
Oh, Kent's grandpa, he swears by it. Kerosene for everything. If you have a sore throat, kerosene. Kerosene fixes everything, according to his grandpa.
Alrighty then.
Sore throat? Well, take a drink of it. Or what do you do then?
You rub it on your throat. Good Lord.
Oh, you rub it on your throat. Sorry.
You don't drink
you're drinking it.
Just like
I was thinking, gargling is bad enough. I definitely wouldn't.
Unless you want to do the Gene Simmons Fireball.
Yeah, right.
Well, just like Snob, he hates to smell like anything like mentholatum or Vicks. Because anytime you were sick, that his grandma would take that Vicks and rub it on his throat.
Oh yeah.
You put it in the back of your throat.
In his mouth, in the back of his throat. He doesn't like the smell of it at all.
That's did your grandmother not read or on the label it says for topical use only?
He still swears to this day that it works. I go up there with a cough or I'm sick, and she'll tell me, it's like, just go get some of that Vicks and rub it on the back of your throat.
Mentholatum.
Or mentholatum. Same thing.
No, it's not. Mentholatum's absolutely even worse. And I swear, you did not complain. If you walked in my grandma's house when you was a kid, you did not complain about a sore throat after one time of complaining.
Oh,
Just
that was the trick. See,
cram it in the back of your throat.
The trick wasn't that it actually worked. The trick was just to get you to shut up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
My grandparents, all they had was
that would work.
My grandparents just had like the pure aloe vera from the actual plant.
Well, yeah, that's what we always have.
And so she always, I mean, there's always a bottle of that all around her house.
Oh, we just have the plants and we just squeeze it out.
Yeah, she had the plants, but she would squeeze it out into a bottle, so it'd be in a big old bottle.
G23 out there, I've never heard this one before, but he says mustard powder is great for putting on burns.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You wet? Well, you must make a paste of it, I imagine, huh?
I don't know, but we've been joined by a latecomer. Travis P11's jumped in. How are you tonight, Travis?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? What are we talking about? Like natural remedies and stuff tonight, or what?
We were talking about all kinds of stuff. We were talking about the Great American Outdoor Show, but somehow we got on the topic of burns, and you know how things get sidetracked.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Binary triggers, you know.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Pretty much it was all my fault on the burns and stuff because I thought I was muted and I was talking about my son's burns and I wasn't muted and yeah.
I wasn't trying to place blame on somebody. Jesus, I'm diplomatic here.
Was that your son here in the background or what? Mystic, is that your son talking in the background?
I think
that was Snob.
talking over there.
Snob, what's Snob doing over at her place?
They're married.
What? No, I'm just messing with you. I know.
They're married, man. Come on, do the program.
Don't tell everybody that. I try to pretend like I don't claim him, so we're not technically married.
Well, you do on taxes. I mean, you kind of have to. You know, apparently it's better that way. So I don't know.
Okay,
well,
one
only
thing.
if they're getting the earned income credit. If they're not getting the earned income credit, they can file separate. Yeah.
I'll claim him more when I get the Kimber.
Yeah. We got our fingers crossed.
Eventually.
You said you were
not gonna
getting
make-
Christmas. He didn't say which Christmas.
And we got to start. I just noticed we got to start wrapping this up. Midnight has already sent his links out.
Well, I ain't.
Yeah, but he takes forever after he sends the links usually.
I told you
Well,
he's gonna
Oh, yes,
have
it
a
is.
guest.
No, he's going to be on the ball tonight because he's got
He's got a
guy
guest.
from Coast.
Oh,
He's
that's
got a
right.
guest.
So
He'll be
he's
on
probably
time.
going to start at
Yep, we better get
he'll
there.
start at 10:30, you suppose, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to start 10:30, which is about a half hour from now.
Well,
So,
9:30
yeah.
for us in this flyover state. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
You guys are behind.
When I said we had a late guest, man, you were late last minute.
Well, I've been busy working on stuff. I finally got to the point where I can't pack up anything else in the house. I'm basically done packing. So
Yeah, and you got
I
off
had to
tomorrow.
stop and- what's that? No,
I said,
no,
yeah,
we have school
you get-
tomorrow.
Yeah, no school tomorrow.
No. We have school tomorrow.
Oh, you have school tomorrow?
Oh
on
yeah, we're
President's
never
Day?
off for President's Day. No, we're on for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We're on for President's Day. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they get off in
Wow.
West Virginia. They get off for President's Day.
Nah, we don't celebrate that.
Our kids were going to be off, but now they're using it for a snow day because they had 2 snow days a couple
Ooh.
weeks ago.
Bummer.
Now they have school. They got to make up 2 days. So that
Yeah, we get-
tomorrow and
They get 10 snow days a year before they have to make them up.
Holy crap, man! We get like 3.
Well, we got 10
I
in
think it's
Pittsburgh too. When I
still-
was a kid, we got 10 snow days before we had to make any of them up.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you lived in Pittsburgh. That's less than an hour from my hometown.
well, so usually after spring break they start having every Friday off, and then if they do have snow days, they kind of take them out of that. But they went ahead and took President's Day, and then they took one day, I think, the first Friday of April, which is a Friday they were going to have off anyways. Because they literally, after spring break, they go to school like 4 days a week.
We lost Gizzard. I don't know if he dropped or if he went over midnight. But
I probably scared him
Anyway.
away.
yeah, since you're the last one, since we got to start wrapping this up, and you're the last one in here, Travis, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, check out my podcast, Caliber Corner. It's going to happen tomorrow at 6:00 Central Time, 7:00 East Coast Time, and should be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the FN57 round and holsters. So there you go. Holsters for concealed carry. Fun little topic.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Appreciate the invite, man.
Yep, no problems. Stacy, anything you want to plug?
No,
Other
just
than
about,
Snob with
about the time that I get everything figured out on the mute and unmute, and then you're ending it. So, you know.
All right. 7, anything you want to plug real quick?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? All right. Jason?
Thanks for having me, Rich. And to plug something, I'll plug Budget Guns and Gear. Go over to his website and buy a sticker. He's going to have a really good giveaway, and he's trying to earn the money to get to NRAM.
Yep.
So go over there and help him out a little bit and get in on the drawing.
Yep. And speaking of drawings, if you head over to Crazy Scotsman's channel and find the information on what they're doing for Mr. Holster, he's going to be giving away he's doing a flash raffle right now. It's only until next week that you have the enter. I forget what date exactly, but $10 donation gets you an entry, and you get a chance to win 7.62 by 39 AR-15. So go over there and check that out.
Sweet.
That's for a good cause. It's to help out a member of the YouTube gun family who's dying from cancer, and it's going to help out him and his wife and help them pay their bills and whatnot. So go over there and check that out if you get a chance, and give them some support in this trying time that they're going through. So with that, we will bid you all a good evening, and be sure to go over to Midnight Ranges show and check out his special guest tonight, Greg Mooney from Coast St. Arms. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
See you
Pay it
guys
forward.
later.
All right. How do I turn this damn thing on?
Yeah, push the button.